Namaste, dear students of class 10. I am Tumpuri Shrivani from Bharati Vidya Bhavan's BHL, RC Hyderabad. Today I am in front of you to discuss a topic called Bholi, which is taken from the book Footprints Without Feet. This chapter, Bholi, is written by Abbas. He is a filmmaker, that is, he is a director, a script writer, and he is known for his stories, which are mostly based on Indian society. Okay, this chapter, Bholi, is based on the theme how education can empower people. It talks about people can be empowered because of education. So let us quickly dive in and look at the topic Bholi from the book Footprints Without Feet. So here is the title of the lesson Bholi. Bholi is a Hindi word. All right. Bholi means an innocent person. Right. In Hindi, it means an innocent person. So let's read the lesson. Her name was Sulekha, but since her childhood, everyone had been calling her Bholi, the simpleton. Children, simpleton means a person who lacks common sense. Here, the central character, that is Sulekha. Sulekha came to be known as Bholi because she lacked common sense, she lacked intelligence. Okay, so she was the fourth daughter of Nambardar Ramlal. When she was 10 months old, she had fallen off the cot on her head and perhaps it had damaged some part of her brain. That was why she remained a backward child and came to be known as Bholi, the simpleton. So, children, tragedy struck Sulekha when she was hardly few months old. She was hardly 10 months old when accidentally she had fallen off the cot. Cot is nothing but from her bed she had fallen down and she had injured her brain. Okay, and because of that she always remained a backward child, and eventually she came to be known as Bholi the simpleton. Not only this, children, she also had other difficulty. That is, at birth the child was very fair and pretty, but when she was 2 years old she had an attack of smallpox. Only the eyes were saved, but the entire body was permanently disfigured by deep black pockmarks. Little Sulekha could not speak till she was 5, and when at last she learned to speak, she stammered. The other children often made fun of her and mimicked her. As a result, she talked very little. So, here is another tragedy, children. This accident, that is falling off the cot, damaged her brain. But now, even her physical beauty was lost. Though when she was born, she was fair and pretty, but her physical beauty was lost because she had smallpox. Smallpox is just like chicken pox, children, but this pox, that is smallpox, actually leaves huge scars on our body or on the skin. So what happened? Her entire body got disfigured because it left dark black pockmarks on her body. Little Sulekha could not speak till she was 5. There was one other problem, that is, she would stammer. Whenever she would speak, she would stammer. Okay. Stammering means many children stop and speak, right? They stop for every word, they stop and speak. That's called as stammering. And what happened? Other children often they made fun of her, they mimicked her. Mimicking is nothing but they copy, right? They copy someone and they tease them. So they used to tease her by mimicking her. So because of all this, she talked very little. So what did we see, children? Until here, what did we see? We saw that Sulekha came to be known as Bholi. She was the fourth daughter of Nambardar Ramlal. Okay. So when she was 10 months old, she had fallen off the cot and injured her brain. Not only that, because of smallpox, she had black pockmarks all over the body. Not only that, she stammered whenever she spoke. So as a result, she was a girl who always did not like to mingle with anyone. Ramlal had 7 children, 3 sons and 4 daughters, and the youngest of them was Bholi. It was a prosperous farmer's household and there was plenty to eat and drink. So you can see, children, Ramlal had 7 children, of which 3 were sons and 4 were daughters. And the youngest daughter was Bholi. Okay, she was the youngest of all. And it was a prosperous farmer's household. That means this house was quite rich. Okay, and they had plenty of food to eat and they had plenty to drink. All the children except Bholi were healthy and strong. So in this family, all the children were healthy, all the children were very strong, but Bholi was not like that, right? Bholi was not very healthy girl. The sons had been sent to the city to study in schools and later in colleges. Of the daughters, Radha, the eldest, had already been married. The second daughter, Mangla's marriage had also been settled, and when that was done, Ramlal would think of the third, Champa. They were good looking, healthy girls, and it was not difficult to find bridegrooms for them. So, children, what happened? As you can clearly see, children, the sons were given preference in the family. You can clearly see the sons were sent to schools and colleges to study, but the girls were married off. You can see Radha, the eldest daughter, got married first, followed by Mangla, and then followed by Champa. These three girls, that is Radha, Mangla, and Champa, were married off because they were good looking, they were healthy girls, and there was no difficulty in finding bridegrooms for them. But Ramlal was worried about Bholi. She had neither good looks nor intelligence. So Ramlal had only one concern. That is, he was worried about Bholi because Bholi was a girl who did not have good looks nor she had any intelligence. Bholi was 7 years old when Mangla was married. The same year, a primary school for girls was opened in their village. The Tehsildar Sahib came to perform its opening ceremony. So here comes the twist in the story, children. When Bholi 7 years old, it so happened that one primary school was opened in their village. Until then, they did not have a primary school in their village. Nobody knew about the school, right? One school was opened and the Tehsildar himself came for its opening ceremony. Tehsildar is nothing but the tax collector, children. He is usually the head of this revenue department, right? So Ramlal was working in the revenue department. You all know he was a revenue official. And this Tehsildar came to open a school in the village. He said to Ramlal, as a revenue official, you are the representative of the government in the village. And so you must set an example to the villagers. You must send your daughter to school. So what did Tehsildar suggest, children? Tehsildar suggested to Ramlal that since he was a government representative, he should set himself as an example and he should be the first person to send his daughter to school. That night when Ramlal consulted his wife, she cried, "Are you crazy? If girls go to school, who will marry them?" So you see, children, how is the mentality of this mother? Okay, how they are. Since they are villagers, they don't understand the importance of school. Okay, so Ramlal goes and he tells, consulted means he talks, he tells about this to his wife, and she is so much worried to send her daughter to school that she started crying. She cries and she says, "Are you crazy? If we send these girls to school, who is going to marry them?" Right? So she doesn't want her girls to go to school. But Ramlal had not the courage to disobey the Tehsildar. At last his wife said, "I will tell you what to do. Send Bholi to school. As it is, there is a little chance of her getting married with her ugly face and lack of sense. Let the teachers at school worry about her." So you see, children, what did the wife suggest? Ramlal's wife suggested that it's better they send Bholi to school because they felt that obviously Bholi would not get any proposal for marriage because she was ugly faced and she lacked sense. And they thought that it's better they send Bholi to school because the prospects of her getting matches were very few. The next day, Ramlal caught Bholi by the hand and said, "Come with me, I will take you to school." Bholi was frightened. So you see, children, they are not telling her anything. He holds her and says, "Come with me, I'll take you to school." She doesn't even know what a school is. Okay, Bholi doesn't know what a school is. And he says, "Come on, let me take you to school." So she got very frightened of it. She did not know what a school was like. She remembered how a few days ago their old cow Lakshmi had been turned out of the house and sold. So you see, children, Bholi is such an innocent girl. She remembered Lakshmi, their cow, which was actually taken away from their house and it was sold away. So probably she equated her situation with this. Probably she thought that just like Lakshmi, she was being sold away or probably sent away from home. And that's the reason she was very scared. So, what did she do? No, 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 she shouted in terror and pulled her hand away from her father's grip. So she was horrified and she started shouting, no, no, no. And she was terrorized, means she was very scared and she pulled away from her father. What's the matter with you, you fool? Shouted Ramlal. I am only taking you to school. Then he told his wife, let her wear some decent clothes today, or else what will the teachers and other schoolgirls think of us when they see her? So you see, children, here Ramlal is actually telling his wife to make Bholi look presentable in school. This clearly implicates, children, that Bholi was neglected all this time. She was not given proper clothes to wear. Okay, they did not treat her well. But now Ramlal wants her to look presentable so that teachers and other schoolgirls do not think negative about her. Right? So what do they do? New clothes had never been made for Bholi. The old dresses of her sisters were passed on to her. No one cared to mend or wash her clothes. So you see, children, how Bholi's condition was. She was totally neglected. Her clothes were never washed. She was never given new clothes. The clothes were never mended. But today she was lucky to receive a clean dress which had shrunk after many washings and no longer fitted Champa. So what did their parents do? They actually took Champa's old clothes which did not fit Champa. They passed on to Bholi. She was even bathed and oil was rubbed into her dry matted hair. So what did they do? They gave her a bath and they gave her good clothes and they also combed her hair. Her hair was matted. Matted means, children, when you leave the hair neglected for a long period of time, they become sticky and that's called matted hair, right? Only then did she begin to believe that she was being taken to a place better than her home. So, children, when she received so much attention from the parents, she received clothes from Champa. They were rubbing oil on her head. They were trying to comb her hair. She was made to look presentable. So, Bholi thought, maybe I'm going to a place which was better than home, because this home was always very unwelcoming for her, right? She was not given much attention or nobody bothered about her. But now she felt probably she was going to a better place than her home itself. Then what happened? When they reached the school, the children were already in their classrooms. So, children, finally, Bholi was taken to school. When they went to school, they realized that the other children were already in the classrooms. Ramlal handed over his daughter to the headmistress. Left alone, the poor girl looked about her with fear-laden eyes. So, what did Ramlal do? He took his daughter and handed over to the headmistress. Headmistress, nothing but the principal of the school, right? And he left alone. The poor girl looked about her with fear-laden eyes. Fear-laden means Bholi looked around with lot of fear in her, right? She was filled with fear because she was not used to this new scenario of going to school. There were several rooms, and in each room, girls like her squatted on mats, reading from books or writing on the slates. So, what did she see there, children? She saw that in rooms there were many girls who were sitting on the floor. They were squatting on the floor and they were reading books. Squatting, what do you mean by squatting, children? Sitting on the floor by folding your legs is called as squatting. They were sitting on the mats and they were either reading or writing on their slates. The headmistress asked Bholi to sit down in a corner in one of the classrooms. So what did headmistress do? She took Bholi and she made her sit in one corner of the one of the classrooms. Then what happened? Bholi did not know what exactly a school was like and what happened there, but she was glad to find so many girls almost of her own age present there. She hoped that one of these girls might become her friends. So, this was a new lease of life, children. You can clearly make out that Bholi was quite happy to find girls of her own age there. Okay, and she also hoped that few of these girls would become her friends. The lady teacher who was in the class was saying something to the girls, but Bholi could understand nothing. She looked at the pictures on the wall. The colors fascinated her. The horse was brown, just like the horse on which the Tehsildar had come to visit their village. The goat was black, like the goat of their neighbor. The parrot was green, like the parrots she had seen in the mango orchard, and the cow was just like their Lakshmi. And suddenly, Bholi noticed that the teacher was standing by her side, smiling at her. So, children, this was the first day of Bholi at school, and Bholi was trying to adjust herself there. She was looking at the lady teacher there who was standing and probably saying something to the students there. And what did Bholi do? She looked everywhere. She looked at the pictures that were put up on the wall. And she was able to relate, children. This clearly shows that Bholi was quite intelligent. She was not very dumb, right? How do you understand that? You understand that how she relates these pictures on the wall with the animals she had seen before. Just like the horse was brown, just like the horse on which the Tehsildar had come to visit their village. So she could relate this picture of the horse, which was brown in color, to the horse on which the Tehsildar had visited the village. She could relate the picture of the goat with the goat of their neighbors. She could relate the picture of the parrot with the parrot she had seen in the mango orchard. Orchard is nothing but fruit garden, children. So she had seen mangoes. In mango orchard, she had seen some parrots, and she could relate this picture of parrot with those parrots in the orchard, and she was able to relate the picture of the cow with Lakshmi. Lakshmi was a cow which was in Bholi's house, right? And suddenly she saw that the teacher was standing next to her and smiling at her. So, what did the teacher do? Let's see, children. What's your name, little one? So, what did the teacher ask this little girl? She asked her what was her name. Bholi or Bho. She could stammer no further than that. Then she began to cry, and tears flowed from her eyes in a helpless flood. You see, children, this girl who never spoke to anybody, right? Who kept to herself, today suddenly one teacher is coming and speaking with her, is a very emotional situation for her. So she tries to tell her name, but she cannot tell her name also, and she begins to cry. She begins to weep, and she kept her head down as she sat in her corner, not daring to look up at the girls who she knew were still laughing at her. So, what happened when she was stammering? All the girls in the class looked at her and they started laughing. And because of this, again, Bholi felt extremely shy and she bent her head down and she did not look at anybody. Okay, she did not have the courage to lift her head and look around also. When the school bell rang, all the girls scurried out of the classroom. But Bholi dared not leave her corner. Her head still lowered, she kept on sobbing. So, you see, children, after the school was over, all the girls ran away. Okay, they went out of the rooms. But what happened? She was still sitting in her own place in the corner of the classroom. Scurried means what, children? Running out or going out quickly. Now, here, Bholi did not move out of her corner. She had still lowered her head and she was still sobbing. She was still crying. Bholi, the teacher's voice was so soft and soothing. In all her life, she had never been called like that. It touched her heart. So at that time, what happened? The teacher came to her and with lot of love and affection, with softness and soothing voice, she called her name Bholi, and Bholi was immediately attracted towards her kind teacher. She felt moved by her teacher. Get up, said the teacher. It was not a command, but just a friendly suggestion. Bholi got up. So when her teacher asked her to get up, immediately Bholi got up. Now tell me your name. Sweat broke out over her whole body. Would her stammering tongue again disgrace her? So that what did the teacher do? Now the teacher very calmly again asked her name, right? And Bholi was not sure whether she would give her answer without stammering, right? So she had to put little effort in it, right? And she didn't want to disgrace herself. So what did she do? For the sake of this kind woman, however, she decided to make an effort. She had such a soothing voice, she would not laugh at her. So what happened, children? Bholi developed her confidence. Bholi knew that a lady with such kindness, with such soothing voice, would never make fun of her. So she built up courage to tell her name. Bho, bho, bho. She began to stammer. Well done, well done. The teacher encouraged her. Come on now, the full name. Bholi. At last she was able to say it and felt relieved as if it was a great achievement. So, in the end, Bholi managed to tell her full name, that is Bholi, and she felt as if it was a great achievement in itself. Well done, the teacher patted her affectionately and said, put the fear out of your heart and you will be able to speak like anyone else. Children patted. Patted means to tap the back of Bholi. So the teacher tapped the back of this girl. She was very affectionate. All right. And she suggested to Bholi that you have to put your fear out of your heart. Then only you will be able to speak confidently. So now what is the teacher doing, children? Teacher is trying to build confidence in Bholi, right? Now Bholi looked up as if to ask, really? So Bholi looked up at the teacher and she had a question in her heart, that is, really? Yes, yes, it will be very easy. You just come to school every day. Will you come? Bholi nodded. No, say it aloud. Yes. And Bholi herself was astonished that she had been able to say it. So, children, what did Bholi do to her teacher's question? She started nodding, that is, shaking her head. Without answering, she was shaking her head. And immediately the teacher said, you're not supposed to make gestures, you're supposed to say it out aloud. So, immediately Bholi shouted, yes, right? Yes, that I'm going to come to school. And Bholi herself was astonished. She herself was surprised that she was able to give answer without stammering. Didn't I tell you? Now take this book. The book was full of nice pictures, and the pictures were in color: dog, cat, goat, horse, parrot, tiger, and a cow, just like Lakshmi. And with every picture was a word in big black letters. So, what did the teacher give her? The teacher gave her a alphabet book. Probably this alphabet book consisted of pictures of all these animals: dog, cat, goat, all right, horse, parrot, tiger, cow. All these pictures were there in the book. In 1 month, you will be able to read this book. Then I will give you a bigger book. Then a still bigger one. So, what did the teacher tell her? Teacher told her, in 1 month, you will be able to read this book. After that, I'm going to give a bigger book and then a much bigger one. In time, you will be more learned than anyone else in the village. Then no one will ever be able to laugh at you. So the teacher says, the moment you start reading books, you will become a learned person and no one will ever make fun of you or laugh at you. People will listen to you with respect and you will be able to speak without the slightest stammer. So the teacher is inducing confidence in Bholi. She says, you will be gaining respect from others. You will be able to speak with confidence without any slightest stammering, right? Understand? Now go home and come back early tomorrow morning. So the teacher says, now you go home, take this book with you, and tomorrow early morning you come back to school. So the teacher is putting a lot of effort in Bholi. She is trying to build confidence in her and she's trying to make Bholi feel comfortable. And she suggests that the next morning also Bholi should return to school. Bholi felt as if suddenly all the bells in the village temple were ringing, and the trees in front of the schoolhouse had blossomed into big red flowers. So you can see, children, here Bholi is feeling extremely happy. So, how is the author talking about her happiness? He says that Bholi could hear the bells in the village temple ringing, right? So, she heard the bells ringing, then the flowers, red color flowers, started blossoming. So, and her heart was throbbing with a new hope and a new life. Throbbing means her heart was pounding or beating with a ray of new hope and a new life. So, all this implicate that Polly was feeling very happy about her new school and her teacher. Thus, the years passed. So, that's how few years passed, and Bholi probably became older. The village became a small town. So what were the changes after a few years? The small village turned into a town. Okay. The little primary school became a high school. There were now a cinema under a tin shed and a cotton ginning mill. So these were some of the changes, children. The primary school became a high school, and there was also one cinema, that is one theater that was constructed, which was a tin shed and a cotton ginning mill. Beside this mill, a theater was constructed. The mail train began to stop at the railway station. So they also had a mail train, which stopped at their railway station. So these were some changes that took place over due course of time. One night after dinner, Ramlal said to his wife, "Then shall I accept Bishambar's proposal?" So one night it so happened that Ramlal speaks to his wife and he asks his wife, "Shall I accept Bishambar's proposal?" "Yes, certainly," his wife said. "Bholi will be lucky to get such a well to do bridegroom, a big shop, a house of his own, and I hear several thousand in the bank. Moreover, he is not asking for any dowry." So, this husband and wife, they are discussing about Bholi's marriage children. They wanted to accept the Bishambar's proposal. So, Bishambar is the bridegroom, and they wanted to accept the marriage proposal of Bishambar's, and they wanted Bholi to marry Bishambar, and they were discussing this because they felt that it was most suitable for Bholi because this man had a big shop. He also had a house of his own and he had a good bank balance. And the best part, they all thought that Bishambar was not asking for dowry. "That's right, but he's not so young, almost the same age as I am, and he also limps. Moreover, the children from his first wife are quite grown up." You see, children, now here the father is trying to get Bholi married off to a man who has a limp. That means he's handicapped in one leg. He was already married and he had children from his first marriage. Children, he had grown up children from the first marriage. So this was an absolutely wrong marriage for Bholi. But as parents, they did not bother to worry about the feelings of Bholi, but they decided to get her married off to Bishambar because they felt that since he was rich, this was a suitable match to her. "So, what does it matter?" his wife replied. "45 or 50? It is no great age for a man. We are lucky that he is from another village and does not know about her pockmarks and her lack of sense. If we don't accept this proposal, she may remain unmarried all her life." So, you can see how insensitive her mother is. She is trying to get her daughter married off to a man who is almost 50 years old, children, who is probably double the age of Bholi, who was already married, who had grown up children, but still she feels that she is lucky to get this match because she feels that Bholi, who has pockmarks on her face and who lacks sense, would never get a suitable match for her. And she says, if we are not accepting this proposal, Bholi would never be married in her entire life. That is, she would remain unmarried for her life. "Yes, but I wonder what Bholi will say." So the father asks, he asks his wife, "Then will Bholi accept for this proposal? I don't know what Bholi is going to say about it." And the mother says, "What will that witless one say?" Witless one means a person who lacks sense. So the mother is saying, this person who doesn't have any sense, what will she say about it? She is like a dumb cow. So the mother is calling her a dumb cow because of her lack of intelligence or because of her innocence. She says, "Maybe you are right," muttered Ramlal. So Ramlal says, "Okay, maybe you are correct. We may not find a suitable bridegroom for Bholi. And since Bishambar is ready to marry her, who doesn't know about her intelligence nor he knows about her pockmarks, so this match would be the suitable match for Bholi." In the other corner of the courtyard, Bholi lay awake on her cot, listening to her parents' whispered conversation. So, what happened? Bholi was lying in her cot and she was overhearing her parents' conversation, who were trying to get her married off to this widower with grown up children. Bishambar Nath was a well to do grocer. He came with a big party of friends and relations with him for the wedding. So now we come to know of Bishambar children. Bishambar Nath was a well to do grocer. That means he was a rich man. Okay. And apart from that, when he came to this wedding, he came with a big party of friends and relatives, a brass band playing a popular tune from an Indian film headed the procession with the bridegroom riding a decorated horse. So, how did he come? He bought a big brass band along with him, and popular music was played. And Bishambar Nath was sitting on a horse, and there was a procession. Procession means a parade, right? The bridegrooms are paraded before they come to the bride, right? So they were coming in a procession, and he was sitting on a decorated horse. Ramlal was overjoyed to see such pomp and splendor. So Ramlal felt very happy. That is, Bholi's father felt very happy when he saw that the groom was coming with so much pomp and show. Right? It was pomp and splendor is nothing but with lot of richness. The bridegroom was coming to marry Bholi. He had never dreamt that his fourth daughter would have such a grand wedding. Bholi's elder sisters, who had come for the occasion, were envious of her luck. So, this entire family felt that Bholi was very lucky to have found this match of Pishambar Nath. They actually felt jealous of Bholi because they felt that she was going to get rich, right? And this procession also was very rich. So they all felt envious. Envious is jealous of Bholi. When the auspicious moment came, the priest said, "Bring the bride." So when this important time came, that is the auspicious moment. Auspicious means that good moments of getting married came. The priest said, "Come on, bring the bride or bring Bholi." Bholi, clad in a red silken bridal dress, was led to the bride's place near the sacred fire. So Bholi was dressed like a bride children. She wore a red color bridal sari and she was brought near the sacred fire that was put up for her wedding. Garland the bride, one of his friends, prompted Bishambar Nath. So it was the time of marriage, children. So one of the friends told Bishambar Nath, take a garland, that is flower garland, right? When the marriage is taking place, usually flower garlands are put. So he says, take a flower garland and put it in the neck of Bholi. The bridegroom lifted the garland of yellow marigolds. A woman slipped back the silken veil from the bride's face. Bishambar took a quick glance. The garland remained poised in his hands. The bride slowly pulled down the veil over her face. So what happened? When he was about to garland Bholi, the veil, that is the cloth that was covering the face of Bholi, was moved aside, and Bishambar Nath got an opportunity to look at her face. And when he looked at her face, he remained poised. Poised means he did not move. He was shocked to see her face because Bholi had all pock marks on her face, and Bishambar Nath had not seen her before. And when he looked at her, he was shocked and he did not move. The bride slowly pulled down the veil over her face. Now, Bholi revealed her entire face to Bishambar Nath. Have you seen her? Said Bishambar to the friend next to him. She has pock marks on her face. So what? You're not young either. Maybe, but if I am to marry her, her father must give me 5,000 rupees. So immediately when Bishambar was shocked, he shouted to his friend, she has pock marks on her face and I can't marry her. And his friend says, you're also not young either. You're also an old man who is marrying her. So that should suffice. But immediately Bishambar says, no question. If I have to marry her, the father has to pay 5,000 rupees as an extra dowry. Ramlal went and placed his turban, his honor, at Bishambar's feet. Do not humiliate me so. Take 2,000 rupees. So what did Ramlal do? He took his turban. Turban is nothing but the cloth which is put on the head of the people, right? The pagdi. It is called pagdi in Hindi. So he takes this pagdi or the turban and he puts it at the feet of Bishambar. That means to consider this proposal. He is trying to beg Bishambar to marry Bholi, but Bishambar doesn't accept. He says, no question of this, I am not going to accept this. He says, please take, instead of 5,000 rupees, take 2,000 rupees. But Bishambar refuses this. No, 5,000 or we go back. Keep your daughter. Be a little considerate, please. If you go back, I can never show my face in the village. So Ramlal starts begging Bishambar. He says, if you go away, my daughter will never be married and I cannot show my face to anybody. So please marry my daughter. Like that, he starts begging Bishambarnath. But Bishambar is adamant. He says, no, if you don't pay money to me, I'm not going to marry her. Then out with 5,000, tears streaming down his face, Ramlal went in, opened the safe and counted out the notes. He placed the bundle at the bridegroom's feet. So what did Ramlal do? Since he was forced to pay that money, he goes inside and brings 5,000 rupees and he placed that money at the feet of the bridegroom. On Bishambar's greedy face appeared a triumphant smile. So Bishambar, who was such a greedy person, children, he had a smile. Triumphant smile is nothing but a victorious smile. That is, he had won, right? He successfully managed to humiliate Ramlal, and he also was able to convince them to pay extra dowry. Hence, he felt very happy about it, and hence his greedy face was filled with smile. He had gambled and won. Give me the garland, he announced. Now, Ramlal, after paying the money, Ramlal moves aside and Bishambar says, come on, give me the garland and I am ready to get married to Bholi. Once again, the veil was slipped back from the bride's face, but this time her eyes were not downcast. So what happened again? Bholi was ready for marriage. They put that veil on her face and Bholi was expected to look down, right? In marriages, what happens? Bride is not supposed to look at the groom directly. She's supposed to lower her eyes. So now Bholi did not downcast her eyes because Bholi felt very humiliated and she did not want to compromise now because she felt that Bishambar was unfair to her. She was looking up, looking straight at her prospective husband, and in her eyes there was neither anger nor hate, only cold contempt. So now Bholi was looking straight at her groom and she was neither angry nor she was hateful, she was only in cold contempt. Cold contempt means a worthless person, right? So she was looking at him neither with hatred nor with anger, but with cold contempt. That means she felt this man was unworthy for her to marry. Bishambar raised the garland to place it round the bride's neck, but before he could do so, Bholi's hand struck out like a streak of lightning and the garland was flung into the fire. She got up and threw away the veil. So this was the peak, or this was the limit, children. Bholi could not accept it anymore. When Bishambar was ready to put garland in the neck of Bholi, she immediately stood up. She struck like a lightning and threw away the garland into the fire, and she also opened her veil. Right? Pitaji said Bholi in a clear, loud voice, and her father, mother, sisters, brothers, relations, and neighbors were startled to hear her speak without even the slightest stammer. Here, children, Bholi was extremely angry with this behavior and she started speaking without stammering. In that emotional condition, she started speaking without stammering and she shouted, Pitaji. Pitaji means father. And she was very loud, she was very clear, and she said, take back your money. I am not going to marry this man. So what did she finally announce? She said, I am not going to marry this man. Ramlal was thunderstruck. You see, children, Ramlal was shocked. When he heard Bholi refusing to marry him, he was shocked. The guests began to whisper, so shameless, so ugly, and so shameless. So all the guests who were present there, instead of criticizing Ramlal, they started talking about Bholi. They said, what a shameless girl she is. What an ugly girl, and how shameless of her to refuse to marry Ramlal. Bholi, are you crazy? Shouted Ramlal. You want to disgrace your family? Have some regard for our izzat. Izzat means reputation. Children, so Ramlal immediately says to Bholi, are you mad? Are you crazy? Do you want to bring disgrace to this family? Please think about our reputation, says Ramlal. That is father of Bholi. For the sake of your izzat, said Bholi, I was willing to marry this lame old man. But I will not have such a mean, greedy, and contemptible coward as my husband. I won't, I won't, I won't. So now Bholi finally decides, she makes her decision. She says, for your reputation, I compromised. For your reputation, I was willing to marry this lame old man. I did not say a word about it, but now I am not willing to marry a person who is so greedy, who is so contemptible, right? He is a coward, she says. What do you mean by contemptible? Contemptible means an undeserving person. I am not willing to marry this undeserving coward. Coward means a person who is afraid of things. She says, I am not willing to marry him and I won't, I won't, I won't. So she makes her decision and out of anger, she yells that I'm not going to marry him. What a shameless girl. We all thought she was a harmless, dumb cow. Bholi turned violently on the old woman. Yes, auntie, you are right. You all thought I was a dumb, driven cow. That's why you wanted to hand me over to this heartless creature. So, one old lady who is present there, she says, what a shameless girl Bholi is. And we all thought that she was a harmless, dumb cow. But look at her now. How is she behaving? Says the old woman. And immediately Bholi answers her. She says, auntie, because of you people, I was always silent. I was a dumb, driven cow and I wanted to marry this heartless creature. But now the dumb cow, the stammering fool, is speaking. She says, but now I am not going to keep quiet. I am going to talk. Do you want to hear more? Says Bholi. Bishambarnath, the grocer, started to go back with his party. The confused bandsman thought this was the end of the ceremony and struck up a closing song. So immediately Bholi called off her marriage, and Bishambarnath was forced to go back along with his party. And the bandsmen were confused. They thought that this was the end of the ceremony, and they started playing the tune of the closing song. Ramlal stood rooted to the ground, his head bowed low with the weight of grief and shame. So you see, children, how villagers are. They feel very humiliated, right? Here Ramlal felt very humiliated. He was struck with grief and unhappiness. He was struck with shame and sorrow because he felt that his daughter had done an insane thing of refusing to marry Bishambar. So he just was rooted to the ground. That means he did not move from that place, and he started crying in sorrow. The flames of the sacred fire slowly died down. Everyone was gone. Ramlal turned to Bholi and said, but what about you? No one will ever marry you now. What shall we do with you? So children, since the marriage was cancelled, all the guests left, everyone was gone, and even the flames which were put for the marriage ceremony to be performed also died down. All right. And Ramlal was very unhappy. He looked at his daughter and he said, what about you now? No one is ever going to marry you, right? After all this, nobody will marry you. Now, what shall we do now? So Ramlal is heartbroken and he looks at his daughter and says, what should he do? And Sulekha said in a voice that was calm and steady, don't you worry, Pitaji. In your old age, I will serve you and mother, and I will teach in the same school where I learnt so much. Isn't that right, ma'am? So you see, children, now Bholi is very confident, or Bholi or Sulekha is very confident. She is very calm and composed. That means she has gained a lot of confidence because of her education, children. She is determined now that she will lead her life on her own. So she tells her father, you please don't worry about me. I'm going to take care of my parents. That is, I'm going to take care of you and my mother, and I'm going to work in the same school where I have learned so much. And then she looks at her teacher who is standing close by. She looks at her teacher and says, isn't that right, ma'am? And the teacher had all along stood in a corner watching the drama. So all this while, Her teacher was standing in the corner and she was watching all this drama, and she looked at Bholi because even teacher was amazed with the transformation that education had brought about in Bholi. The teacher says, "Yes, Bholi, of course," she replied. And in her smiling eyes was the light of a deep satisfaction that an artist feels when contemplating the completion of her masterpiece. Now, there is a lot of satisfaction in the eyes of the teacher. How is the teacher feeling, children? The teacher is feeling like an artist who has completed a masterpiece. Now, here, who is the artist? The teacher is the artist, and the teacher has completed her job of infusing confidence in Bholi, and now Bholi has turned into a masterpiece. Just like Bholi is ready for her life, similarly, the artist feels very happy when his masterpiece is ready. So the teacher feels very happy and she feels very proud about the transformation in Bholi. So with this, we have come to an end of this chapter, children, where we understand that education can bring about a drastic change in the life of the people. It can actually build confidence and it can help them to lead a life on their own. This education actually helps Bholi to make decisions on her own and to move ahead in her life. So with this, I'm ending the session, children. I hope this chapter is clear to you. And this topic is very important from the examination point of view, children. There might be several questions asked. So kindly be prepared with this chapter thoroughly. Thank you, children. Thanks a lot.